The 2019-2020 season is shaping up to be one of the best NBA seasons that we've had in years. There are going to be a ton of big matchups this season, and for the first time in years, the NBA Finals and Championship are anybody's guess. That said, we've got 10 big games that we're especially excited about, and you should be too. Get out your calendar. You're going to want to mark these 10 games down as must-watches. Let's dive in. Let's talk about them. Let's do it.
This is the Upshot Podcast. We're about to break down the biggest moments in the NBA.
Long three! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining!
And why they matter now. This is the Upshot Podcast.
So we got a big season coming up very, very soon. And we get started really, really quickly. The regular season is going to be from Tuesday, October 22nd until Wednesday, April 15th. And we've got some big things. It's like the NBA has seen an opening over the last little bit. And we've got a huge, huge set of schedules. And some of the hints that are really putting this out in front of you is the opening night schedule is got some very interesting games. We've got a Christmas Day schedule that is absolutely star-studded. When they have everybody at home and they're off work and they don't have work the next day, we've got a ton of really good games that the NBA has set up to really try to capture, the opportunity that they have here. And we've got a ton of really, really big games coming up. And I think that what we want to talk about is, what do you guys see coming up before we get into our actual big games this year and what you have to watch if you're an NBA fan, or even if you're not an NBA fan and you want to, try to give this a shot? What are the big games we're going to be talking about in a bit? But really, what are the things that are going to be setting up these games? And there's things in the past, this last year when I was going to, live games, you go to see your team, but then, you always want to see a couple of other teams come in and play because they're the must-watches of the season. And that's the way it's been for the last few years. There's one or two teams that you have to go watch, and then after that, it's so-so. But this year, it's completely different. There's so many big things going on. There's so many storylines. What do you guys, I just want to go around the room. We've got Nick Atkins, we've got Marshall Robertson, we got Joe Baltz with us today. And what are you guys looking for this season that really gets you excited about the NBA and what's going on in the games that we're going to get to? When we get into this top 10, what are the characteristics of these games that make them so good?
Well, there's a couple of things. For one, I give credit to Mr. Silver because he's trying to figure out what is going to get people watching these games. And I think one thing he's done, it seems so simple, but he's bumped up the start time. I think back to the playoff teams in the NBA last year, and he had like a Portland team that I was super impressed with in the playoffs, and how many times did I see them play that season? And so even just bumping that up 30 minutes for that first game, which is something that TBS TNT has done, and that's part of that contractual agreement that they have with the NBA. I think that's really helped a lot with what we're going to look at in the product that we're seeing on there. So I'm excited that they're looking at the fan. The NBA is booming, and I think the second piece of that is we went from the big three to the big two. Tell me what team has three superstars on it.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy.
The parity that's going to create. The parity that's going to create, I think, is phenomenal. Everyone can argue what the third best player is, but you went from big three, the big three, the big three, the big three. That's all we've been talking about for the last 6 years, and all of a sudden it's the big two. And you got Leonard and George.
Bunch of duos.
You
all
got
over the
Davis
league.
and you got LeBron and so on and so forth. But all that does to me is get me excited about anybody can win.
A little bit more parity.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's an open field. That's what I like about it. It's for the last few years, and we've talked about this quite a bit. We've come in Vegas odds, normal person's odds, whatever. You're going to put it on the Warriors. You think they're going? Okay. Not so sure about it. I actually think the Warriors are going to surprise people this year. I'm more excited to see what's going to happen in the West than anything. And when I do that, I go through a little exercise about once a week in my basement where we're going over stuff for the pod. I'm looking at Memphis' schedule. I'm looking at the upcoming season. I'm looking for a Memphis team that I'm super excited about, but I'm looking
You're looking for wins.
Exactly. I'm looking at teams in the West. I'm going, okay, that's probably not good, probably not good, probably not good. And I'm bumping all the way down, and I think we're a pretty good team. I am more excited about the West, which has been the most powerful division for a long time, more excited about this year than I have been in any other year.
And see, for me, I want to see what happens to teams that lost big stars, and there's a lot of them. I mean, you start in Toronto. What's going to happen in Toronto without Kawhi?
Yeah.
What's going to happen there? What's going to happen in Oklahoma City? They just lost the last of their 3 big stars. How do they react? What happens in choose any team. Like all these teams that have gained stars.
Yeah.
LA Lakers. You've got Houston Rockets.
Clippers.
The Clippers. How are they all going to react?
Brooklyn.
All this movement and all this shaking,
Yeah.
how's it gonna reverberate throughout the NBA? It's gonna be really fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that there was so much movement in the offseason. It's one of the most exciting off seasons we've had in a very long time. And it really, like I said, you go from a place that, you're going to watch a couple teams that have a big 3 to all these teams that have a big 2 now. And it really sets things up. So let's dig into it. Like I said, not kidding around here. Let's get into the actual games that we're the most excited about, and let's talk about kind of why we're excited about those games. We'll just start at the top. Number 10, we'll go down to number 1 from there. So number 10, we've got on January 30th, so a little bit kind of hitting the second half of the season, but we've got Utah at Denver. And why are you guys excited about this one?
Well, I'll take the lead on this. I mean, it's these are the unsexy matchup. I mean,
Yeah.
for people that aren't big time NBA fans, you're looking at Utah, you're looking at Denver, and why are they exciting? I legitimately believe both of these teams are ready to compete with the big stars. I really
Absolutely.
believe that. Both of these teams were solid playoff teams last year.
Yeah.
Both of these teams, in my opinion, improved themselves from last year. And we're looking at putting this on the list mostly more than anything else because it's kind of that second half of the season where both teams are kind of getting a little bit seasoned. They're kind of figuring themselves out with their new additions, and they're going to be playing for a slot. And it's not going to be like, are we making the playoffs or not, but are we going to be a 2? Are we going to be a 5?
And who are we getting in
gonna
the
be an
first
8?
round?
Right.
That's right.
Like, and I think both of these teams, and I mean this, I think both of these teams could be competing for a top 4 spot,
I
and
agree.
not who in the top 4 are they going to play, but like literally a top 4 spot. So I think when you're looking at 2 teams that had 50 wins last year and their managers' positions feel like they improved themselves, this is a big time game. Although most of America is not excited about Utah, Denver in general.
But I mean, you talk new additions. So from a Denver standpoint, they were a phenomenal team last year.
Absolutely.
I mean, phenomenal. So what's going to
Well
be their
built.
next step? What's their next step? You got Michael Porter Jr. involved this year. I mean, that's going to get really interesting. And then Utah, who was already a very good team, added Mike Conley to go with Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert. That team seems like they're primed to make the next step. And honestly, both of these teams seem like they're primed to take the next step.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see which one takes the bigger step.
For me, I would watch Jokic play anytime.
Oh,
I would
God,
watch him
he's
every
so
night.
good.
And I worry a little bit about his health, his body, because these big guys that are extremely athletic but playing up and down all the time, I worry a little bit about him getting hurt. But other than that, I think he's probably the most talented big man in the NBA. I think he's a real dark horse for the MVP this year. I know it's
Absolutely.
crowded, but
He just got himself thrown out of a world championship game the other day for 2 straight technicals.
Oh,
But
yeah.
he's probably saving himself for a little.
probably is.
Little NBA.
Look,
season.
him versus Gobert, and I really like Gobert too in the post. I really look forward to that matchup.
Yeah, that's
Can
nice.
Gobert stretch out and guard him in the key? Can Gobert probably guard him a little bit more better, or excuse me,
Little bit
better.
more better.
Excuse me,
There it
guard him
is.
better in the post. I'm really looking forward to this matchup. It is probably not going to draw ratings like Lakers Clippers, but I think it's going to be a good game.
We'll be watching.
Yeah. So number 9, Atlanta versus Dallas. We have a lot of storylines in this game. Let's talk about them.
I mean, it's got the 2 best sophomores in the game, right?
Yep.
You got Trae Young versus Luka Doncic, who literally were traded for each other.
Traded for each other
correct?
on draft night.
So, I can't wait to watch these 2 together. And also, I think that Atlanta and Dallas are 2 more teams that we're thinking are going to take the next step this year. I'm really excited to watch both these teams. You got Porzingis coming back. Come on.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I think Luka may be one of my favorite rookies that's ever played the game.
Yeah.
I really think
he's so good.
I really think he's ahead of his time. I think he's kind of the evolution of what the point forward is. I mean,
Yeah.
we going all the way back to Magic Johnson. I mean, I think I really think he's that kind of generational player. Now, Trae Young, I'm a little bit down on him because I think defensively he's just like a sieve. I think that's poor, but I think offensively, I think Atlanta could be the most fun team to watch on offense. I mean, and also Reddish. Right? They got. I mean, it's
and DeAndre Hunter.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, there's a lot of young talent on
so
that
they
team.
flipped that extra pick that they got from. I mean,
yeah.
And so look, I think we're going to be talking about those guys for a long time because they're forever going to be entwined.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I made the same note. Those two guys are literally going to be tied together.
And you
for the
and I
next
said
15
this
years.
about Mario Edwards and Reggie Bush, and we've not stopped talking about.
And here we are. Wait,
and that's why it's an NBA podcast.
Mario
ladies and gentlemen.
Edwards.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well,
All right.
I think one fun piece is like I look at Porzingis and I look at Luka, and like it's easy to just piece them as international players playing at Dallas, but like it's a different style of play in international ball. It really is, and it's also proven successful. It's not that it's wrong. It's just a different style than what the NBA has, and these two may be the best or most successful international style players that are playing in the NBA, and now you got them on the same team. So, like, the fact that they look different than everyone else makes them so interesting to me.
Agreed.
Because
Yeah.
I feel like if both of these guys are 100%, I don't know what they look like to other teams.
And how long has it been since we've seen Kristaps? It's been like a year and a half.
Absolutely.
I mean,
I'm excited to see that.
Me too.
And
Me
with
too.
who? Like, I mean, and this is my New York hate, but I don't want to watch him on the Knicks. Like, I mean, I'm watching him get beat
He didn't
by
want to watch
whoever.
himself on
Right.
New
I
York
mean,
either.
has the Cubes cornered the foreign market? I mean, it feels like it.
Yeah.
Those two guys feel like
It's
the two
smart
biggest
on,
foreign players.
Yeah,
They
it's
really
smart
do.
and it's smart on every aspect. He's got a chance that his team could be the most underwhelming or overwhelming team in the NBA.
Agreed.
And I think that that's going to make people watch to begin with.
Cool.
Agreed. Okay, so number 8, this is one I'm particularly interested in. February 5th, we've got the Warriors at the Nets, and I feel like this is already starting to become a storyline because of accessory things that are happening in the press.
Absolutely.
And with people that aren't even going to play this year.
Right.
And so what do you guys think about this?
KD's going to be on the sideline.
Yeah, that's the first part is that KD will not be playing in the game.
Yeah.
But, for me, whenever I'm looking at this and I think about KD not playing in the game, that kind of it makes me want to feel like it takes something away from the game, even though not that it has to, but D'Angelo Russell playing for the Warriors definitely adds a piece to it. If it was just
does.
KD going back and playing against the Warriors, that's one piece. But D'Angelo being a piece for the Warriors, if he's still there, if he's not just a trading piece for the Warriors, as a lot of people speculate,
Right.
I think that's awesome because he's so underwhelmed with the Lakers, and last year was phenomenal.
He had a great year,
phenomenal
and
year
they
and
loved him.
playoff year.
They loved him.
He
they
performed
had a
in the
good year.
playoffs, and I think with Clay being out, let's see what kind of piece this guy is because I think he could be phenomenal with
I agree.
with the right pieces around him, and I think Steph's always a great piece around anybody. So
Well, I mean, anytime you get to watch Steph versus Kyrie, come on, sign me up.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Maybe the two best ball handlers in the league. I can't think of two better ones.
No,
I'm
100%.
excited about it.
I know we've got the Warriors probably a couple other times coming up on this list, but this is a big Steph Curry year for me. Just because of the way it
agree.
lines up. I mean, when you look at it, the Warriors are look. Everybody's discounting them, and it's fair, okay. And I understand why they're doing it. And it certainly hurts to not have Clay around, but it's going to be him and Draymond. Is Draymond going to show up in playoff shape this year? Because playoff Draymond was miles away better than the in-season Draymond that we got
Absolutely.
last year.
Yeah.
And so if he shows up and plays and Steph takes over even more of the scoring, which I don't think he's going to have a problem with, I think you're looking at Steph having an MVP year. And I still think that the Warriors are competing for one of the top four spots.
All you need is D'Angelo to play a role.
Exactly.
At that point. That's all you
Exactly.
need.
how about the Nets being relevant though? I mean, like that's big.
Yeah,
That's big for the
immediately.
league. I mean, literally,
It
like
is.
I mean,
We need a good
last
team.
Thank you, Jay-Z.
Last
Thank you.
year surprised me. I mean, let's be honest, because we
Yeah.
didn't think D'Angelo would be who he was, and we didn't think the Nets would be a playoff team. And then all of a sudden they're in it, and then they trade maybe their best player.
Fact of the matter
and
is-
then all of a sudden maybe got two players that are better
Right.
than him, even if
Yeah.
one's still hurt. They got two guys that you think in maybe the next 2 years could be taking a title down.
Kyrie and LeVert could be extremely fun to watch. But
Oh, yeah.
look, a good team
You got
in New
Spencer
York.
Dinwiddie.
I love Dinwiddie.
That guy's good.
A good team in New York is a good thing. It's not going to be the Knicks.
Yeah.
But hopefully in the near future,
who?
playing for.
Sorry,
Oh,
Jimmy
exactly.
Dolan. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Exactly.
Coming up at number 7, we've got on November 16th the Bucks and the Pacers coming together. And, we saw some very interesting things out of both teams last year, but them coming together, especially kind of the timing of this one, it's sort of right at the beginning of things. And I think that, for me at least, It's what's it going to look like as we start the season? We know how it ended. We know all the things that happened in the middle, but like these first few weeks of the NBA are going to be absolutely amazing. So November 16th, Bucks Pacers. What do you guys think?
I got to see what. I'm sorry, Joe. I'm going to jump
No,
in.
go ahead.
I got to see what Oladipo looks like. That's the number one thing for me. Oladipo, I think, is an amazing player. I think he has gotten better every year that he's been in the NBA. His injury was really tragic. I mean, Indiana was going to compete last year,
tough.
and I think if I'm remembering right, they went out to the first round of the playoffs. But they've got him. They've got Sabonis. Okay, I really like Sabonis. They've got Miles Turner. Miles Turner's actually coming off a pretty good summer. I think Indiana has a chance to really improve in an East where so much is up in the air after 76ers, after Giannis and the Bucks. And after Boston. And we're not even really sure what Boston is going to look like with Kemba coming in. So I think Indiana actually has a really good chance to get in and perform and get a good playoff spot. They're going to have to win games like this.
Right.
Sign me up for any game with Giannis. I mean,
Yeah.
I just love seeing that guy play. So any game where I can get involved with him, for sure.
Let me tell you what's interesting about this. This is a divisional game. Okay, these are two teams that are fighting for the number one spot in their division. Obviously, they're two phenomenal teams. They're both got up and coming talent. I feel like both teams have young superstars, so to speak, on their team. But I think the most interesting piece of this is that Malcolm Brogdon from the Bucks, he gets traded.
That's right.
I'm sorry, not traded. He gets picked up by Indiana. That's so uncommon that
Yeah.
you have a guy. I mean, to me, you go Giannis, and then you go Bledsoe, and then you go Brogdon, and maybe not even in that order. I mean, let's be honest. I feel like Brogdon has been everything that
He's
was
been
drafted
so
for,
solid.
right?
Yeah.
For Milwaukee, and then he gets picked up by Indianapolis. That's so uncommon that a guy's going to get picked up at that point in
Absolutely.
the year, and he gets picked up by a divisional team. So the reason this is on there is these are two playoff teams. They're in the same division, and they literally each have a chance to make a run in the Eastern Conference if their young stars make another big jump. And I'm excited to see what it looks like with Brogdon on the other side.
Yep.
Well, just to speak to that one more time, I'm surprised they kept Middleton over Brogdon, to be honest with you. I like Middleton, the Bucks. I mean, I
They
think he's
feel
a
like
good
the
player.
same player.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, I think Brogdon has a little bit more upside, and I feel like losing Brogdon in the playoffs really was kind of a death knell. I mean, I love Giannis, and if Giannis comes in this season and is ready to start shooting from beyond the arc, ball game. And I think that's another MVP for him. And now I have no
sick.
idea if that's what his offseason schedule is going to look like, but that's literally the one hole in his
That's
game.
gotta be the next step.
Offensively.
Yeah.
So, but again, I think Brogdon, Joe, that's a great point. I think he's an incredible defender. He's a really good 3-and-D guy. He plays his butt off.
Yeah,
I think he's
and-
worth every penny.
Yeah, and he answers that question mark you just said. I mean, here's the thing: if they come through and they can answer the three ball without Brogdon, you're like, okay, they're geniuses. But if not, you're like, why would you give away your threat? Like, I think Giannis is an evolution type player, and Brogdon is his, he's his Robin,
It's kind of
and
one.
you
Yeah.
just let him go to the divisional rival.
again,
so I hope
Middleton-
they aren't kicking themselves for that.
Sure.
So taking to number 6 and kind of staying with the theme of beginning of season games, this one's right at the very beginning. It's October 23rd. We've got the Celtics and 76ers, and holy crap, I'm excited about this game.
Oh man, that's big time.
This one's going to
So
be
good.
big. We've got just stars aplenty clashing here, and why are you guys excited about this?
Well, for one, it's the second night of the NBA season, so the season opens up October 22nd.
Oh, that's so
the
exciting.
The NBA did
That's
a
so
great
exciting.
job of slating these. I mean, when I'm looking at these, honestly, I mean, I can't brag enough on like
How they staggered it,
Yeah,
right?
there's something every
Yeah.
night, or if there's two great games, they don't overlap them. I'm so excited about it. So this is night 2. You got the Celtics and the 76ers. The 76ers lose Jimmy Butler, and the Celtics lose Kyrie.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the 76ers still seem like a star-studded team.
Yeah.
Maybe, we all questioned last year, is Butler helping them? Is he hurting them?
Sure.
I mean, that's terrible to say with a superstar on the team. And then at the same time with the Celtics, you lose Kyrie, which I think it was real easy to throw him under the bus. I think we all want to agree with it's easy to throw him under there, and I'm not saying it wasn't warranted, but you bring in Kemba, and so all of a sudden you have a super talented team, and maybe I feel like maybe a more
Cohesive.
right, that's a great word.
Yeah.
Maybe a more cohesive team that's ready to show that they can do it.
And how good is it from Philly's standpoint? You bring in Al Horford.
Oh my God,
absolutely.
From Boston,
From
which I think
Boston.
love Al
what is
Horford.
it's such a sick key. And to be honest with you, I'm going to go ahead and point it out right now. I think Philly is a legit title contender this year.
Yeah.
Because of the Al Horford addition, I really do. I think he's kind of a missing piece where he fills in that 4. You got Embiid where he can play a natural 5,
Right.
Because that's where he belongs.
Yeah.
You put Horford in the 4, and I think that's a money team this year.
Who's stretching the floor for Philly though? That's my concern. Like, who's pulling the defense out?
I think Horford can do it.
He can.
He can hit 18-footer for days. I mean, for days.
I don't want to disagree with you. I feel like Philly's Achilles is going to be who can make them stretch for all their attack and inside play.
The question is going to be, how does Ben Simmons evolve?
Yeah, Ben Simmons
Can
and
he shoot?
Ben Simmons
That's the
and
question.
Embiid from 1 to 5, like literally not talking 2 through 4, 1 through 5. Simmons and Embiid are as good as it gets.
Yeah.
1 and 5.
Yeah.
If you're not looking for a scoring point guard, which most of the league doesn't want, that's literally A+ to me.
Yeah.
But in between, I feel like they have a lot of great players. Can that be enough
They
to
lost
win a
Redick.
championship?
Redick was a big loss.
Yeah.
It
Redick
really
was a huge piece to me.
Yeah.
You guys,
It really
you
was.
guys have covered everything that I would want to cover on Philadelphia. For me, with Boston, I would, if there were, I'm going to bet the over on Boston's win total. I think they're going to be a better team. I think the narrative's there. I do think Kyrie, I know it's easy to blame him. I do think he was that kind of poison for a team that's really well coached,
Right.
and a team that really had good
Well, the
youthful
precedent's
players
there.
that all took
It's
a
there.
step. That all took a step back.
Right.
And look, I don't know exactly how Kemba fits in. I worry a lot less about how Kemba fits in than I do
Right.
about somebody
Yeah.
like Kyrie.
Gotcha. Number 5, we've got November 27th. We got one of my favorite teams, the Lakers, at New Orleans, which I think is going to be fascinating.
This is a top 3 for me. After last year, and I mean, the better part of 6 months where we were talking about a trade between these two teams for
Right.
Anthony Davis,
Yeah.
which really
That's right.
was gut wrenching for Ball, for Hart. I mean, for Ingram. I mean, can you imagine? And the LA media, I mean, I can't imagine what it was like living there and having to deal with that and knowing that this was coming. It's very likely coming. It didn't happen at the deadline, and I've been preparing for it. Now I'm here with this team that we're not going to the playoffs. LeBron's out with a groin. Is this going to happen in the offseason? Most likely. Should I start looking for a place to live? I mean, this is where I'm spitballing here.
So many.
But then what's so exciting about the New Orleans team to me is what's in the obvious. You have J.J. Redick. You get the number 1 pick, which surprised all of us. I mean, the fact that the Grizzlies got the number 2 pick, I think we were shocked too. But you get Zion, you get JJ, you get Lonzo, you get Hart, and you get Ingram.
David Gilbert.
Yeah, exactly.
God,
And then
he
you get
knows what he's doing.
you get Favors, who I loved Favors in
Yeah.
Utah. So
Yeah.
I think they've got an immediate contending
They're gonna
team. And
compete.
by contending, I mean you're probably talking about that 8th spot.
Right.
Okay. But
Right.
but again, I look at them and I look at them versus Grizz and another team that I think has done a very good job with the roster. I got to give the edge to New Orleans right now.
agree.
And a real quick flip in 1 year to the team that it'd be hard pressed to find a worse year than last year.
Talk about an immediate matchup of old versus new, too. LeBron
Absolutely.
versus
It's
Zion.
a great storyline.
Good grief. I mean, don't we all think that Zion is maybe the next LeBron? Maybe some of us see him as maybe more of a Charles Barkley
That
type.
is a
but
big
it's
question.
such a huge debate.
It's
and
a
I
big
think
question.
We want to see how it plays out on court.
Certainly
It's going to be
hype-wise.
so good.
Hype-wise.
Storyline,
certainly.
storyline. This is game 1,
Yeah.
right? We all agree.
Yeah.
I mean, like for one,
For sure.
everyone just changed colors of their jersey.
Yeah.
Like that's the
No
most
doubt.
exciting thing. And I think that if you'll remember last year when Anthony Davis came out with his aggressive, like I want to leave, and it was going to be to the Lakers. Like there was a lot of people pissed off on the Lakers. Like they were like, I can't believe you're considering me in a trade. And those
Yeah.
guys were getting their feelings hurt,
Yeah.
so to speak. And now they are Pelicans. So I'm excited to see when this game comes up. Are they ready to kick some ass
Yeah.
on the Lakers? Because I mean, me frankly, I think the Lakers are way better of a team with Davis and LeBron. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Pelicans win this game.
Agreed.
Me too.
I mean, like
I actually think they
and
match
stick-
up pretty well.
Yeah, and
Underlying
stick it to
story.
'em.
Underlying story. Lonzo versus LeVar.
Let's be
There's
clear.
a lot of
It's
conversation
interesting.
happening.
Lonzo's not the reason that they're going to kick their.
I think
tail
Lonzo is legitimately pissed with LeVar right now, and he's ready to make a move. I think Lonzo's ready to make a move in
I
this
love
league. Get
reality
ready
TV.
for it.
As a
Get ready for it.
As a podcast member here, I want to just talk to all the nation to please not click anything that says LeVar on it. Please,
Agreed.
if it says LeVar and Lonzo, love Lonzo.
Yeah.
The guy has been successful in spite of, and I love Zoe. I really do. because of LeVar. I love that the kid is growing himself up. I hope he has a successful time in New Orleans. I'm excited for him, but that's going to be a big time game. I can't wait to see it.
It's going to be so good.
It is. Number 4, we got on October 24th, right at the beginning of the season again, Milwaukee at Houston. And there's so much to get excited about here.
It's a big game.
I tell you, just personally, I am excited just to see what the heck is going to happen in Houston. And the fact that this is 2 days into the season and they're playing Milwaukee, it's going to be fantastic. So what do you guys think?
Well, after Harden it's a little bit sour grapes. I don't know who's advising these guys. I mean, look, I get it. And the tough part about it is with James Harden, statistically, the numbers are insane. But I think Giannis was the rightful MVP. Obviously, James has come out and said he feels completely differently. Giannis, you give him any bulletin board material, he's going to get fired up. Now, Harden's going to come out and play too.
Yeah.
But I'm more excited to see what that looks like, and especially with it being so early in the season. There's just no way in hell
the
that's not gonna
battle
be
of
fresh.
the MVPs.
It's
It
well,
really is.
absolutely.
It
And then
really
you throw
is.
in Westbrook.
Yeah.
I mean,
And there's Russ.
How does he get involved?
It's interesting.
Am I right? The last 3 MVPs
Yeah.
in this one game.
Battle
I mean,
of the
it's
last 3
sick,
MVPs.
right?
It's 16,
So sick.
17, 18, all right here. And
So sick.
We had Westbrook in 16, and we had what else?
Harden in 17,
Harden,
and
Giannis.
Giannis
Oh, man.
As the
18.
MVP.
It's going to be so good.
I think the interesting piece here is like the individual player and how you feel about them. So you got Milwaukee in the small market, right? And so if you're not a Milwaukee fan, maybe you're not a Giannis fan, I don't know. But what I love about Giannis is that he's always saying and doing the right things. Like Giannis hasn't given me a reason to root against him yet.
He's
okay?
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, he's
about
Durant.
7 years ago.
Exactly
Yep.
right. He's literally that guy that just put my team in the fire, and I think, gosh,
Cries when he wins MVP.
Yeah,
thinks
what a
it's
great
him.
player.
You the real MVP,
So
Mom.
the media comes in and baits this kid, and he says, "You know what? I love my team. I want to play hard. Let's play tomorrow."
That's right.
Like, I love this guy.
I know.
And then on the other team, you have the two guys that's easy to root against. But I'll tell you what, like, what's going to be crazy about Westbrook and Harden is that I think that what makes them so dangerous is that they haven't won. You know, like everyone wants to write them off already, and they're great competitors. No one can
Myself
argue with
included.
that. Yeah, me too. I'm not going to root for either of these guys, but they're great competitors. And here they come in knowing that maybe they're on the second half of their career and they got a chance to win a championship. They're that kind of team.
I'm going to be honest, though. Those two put it together. I don't think there's any way they actually put it together. But if they put it together, I don't think anybody can beat them. I really believe
I
that.
second guess myself on that, and here's why. I only second guess it because you got Chris Paul, who I'm not a huge fan of. We know this. I'm not a huge Paul
You don't
guy.
like Chris Paul?
I
What?
know. It's hard to believe. But all jokes aside, like if I was going to compare someone to Paul, it would be Westbrook. Like Westbrook's a more athletic, less shooting Paul, and you're going to trade him for Westbrook. So what did the owner see? There's no way the Houston owner doesn't feel like this makes them better.
Tillman
There's no
for
way he
Kingdom.
did it for
He's trying to sell some seafood.
That's exactly it. He didn't need to sell it for seats. So I think everyone's down on Houston. No one believes Houston has the team. Everyone thinks Houston
Agreed.
is done because these
Right.
two are on there. And I'll be honest with you, I feel that way. But in the back of my mind, I think to myself, they're about to pull the swoop.
Maybe this could be the year. Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that they're going to win a title,
Right.
and they could. I'm just saying, like, this could be that two-man team where you're like, you didn't see why this is going to work, but damn, this is good.
Right.
And I kind of hope for that. Like, I think that would be exciting.
It'd be great for the league.
Houston.
It'd be great for the league.
I'm calling
absolutely.
implosion. Calling it right now.
So, number 3, we've got a great Christmas present here. On December 25th,
Oh,
we've
man.
got, once again, we're getting back to, Houston and the Warriors. Rockets, Warriors. I don't care who you are. This is always a great game.
It's back where we belong.
It feels good. And, what I really love about this is for the first time in years, I feel like I'm allowed to cheer for the Warriors. I
As the
feel,
underdog, maybe?
I just feel like I have always loved Curry, but because of some of the other people around him, I never wanted
Wait,
to
who
cheer
are you
for that
pointing
team.
out? Who are they missing? Who do they not have on their team this year, Ben? Who is it?
It's a whole thing.
Oh.
So with this game, what gets you guys excited? And this is going to be what I'm doing on Christmas Day after
Kevin
presents.
Durant's not involved. I'm pretty excited about that. Sorry about it.
Absolutely.
I mean, any game where I get to watch Steph play against James Harden
Yeah.
and Russell Westbrook, come on,
Yeah.
sign me up
Well,
right now.
it's
That's easy for me.
It's two amazing teams,
It's
except for
easy.
now there's two people that we all dislike that we don't have to watch.
And I guess actually you can pair two duos. It's Steph and D'Angelo.
Yeah.
Versus Harden
It's guard
and
play.
Westbrook.
It's guard play.
God, that's going to be good.
There's two All-Stars that left this game, and there's two that joined it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we've got D'Angelo coming in, obviously, and then Westbrook coming in. So
It's all going to be guard play. And
Right.
I'll throw this out. I'm going to throw this out all year. If you want to be successful in Houston, you do not play Westbrook and Harden at the same time. Just my 2 cents.
It's interesting.
Onward.
All right, jumping to number 2. Who knows what this is going to look like, but I think this is also just amazing. And I feel this is ranked perfectly on October 24th. Once again, we're 2 days into the season, and the NBA has just been genius with how they're staggering this, like you guys said. We've got Clippers at Warriors. What do you guys think?
You just quit the season after this game, right? Don't you?
absolutely.
Just
See,
move
I would
forward
say
to the
that. I'd
playoffs?
say that I'm super excited about it, and then I know on October 23rd it's gonna be like, oh, Kawhi's out for rest because he's only going to play like 65 games.
No, he's not playing for Pop. We're good. We're good.
I'm telling you, it's just one of those things where I know that Kawhi's probably looking at playing 60 games, and then the playoffs will be like, man, Kawhi looks good.
He looks really jacked.
Yeah, and wonder what he did. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, I mean, look, the it's the California teams this year.
Absolutely.
I mean, out in the West, it's Warriors, Clips, and Lakers, and there's going to be a battle for LA. But what I love is that I think for the first time, and this game is kind of a microcosm of this story, is that if you're Steph and you're Clay, who's rehabbing, you're not the big story anymore. You can
Right.
let these knuckleheads just battle it out, and we're fine being the underdogs. But by the way, we know how to win.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this: like this game has all the sexiness of the two teams. That's all you need. Like I'm pumped for the game.
So really, the first time we're seeing Kawhi and PG
But
play
you've
together.
also, I'm going to talk a little big picture here. You got the Warriors playing in San Francisco in their new Chase Center for the first time ever.
Oh, it's
That
gonna be
their-
so
that
sweet.
their
Wow.
own-
It's gonna be sweet.
Their own owners, put forward this money for this.
Right.
This is supposed to be like an epic change in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be something where this is supposed to be awe-inspiring.
I really hope
to
so.
other NBA teams to where you say the owner's going to open this place. And this is going to be such a money revenue place that other teams are going to quit just needling their city.
Right.
Because we're going to make so much money off this that even though I paid $1 billion for this arena.
gonna get rewarded for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be rewarded for this real soon.
Don't you
And
hope that happens? I hope that
absolutely.
happens.
Like
Yeah.
I mean, that would change the whole dynamic of the NBA. So that part of it's fun. And then obviously you've got, we keep calling it the big two, but let's be honest, like if Clay's healthy, the Warriors are the team that still has 3.
Yeah. True.
Like
Yeah.
of all the
Absolutely.
teams that have the big 2,
4.
they lost. Yeah,
They might have 4.
They
Yeah.
lost KD,
They might
and
have 4.
they have 3
And
now.
Kevon Looney.
Yeah, they have 3, and then they're looking for the 4th whenever
Right.
Clay comes back. So, like, I think it's hilarious that the Warriors are being written off. I don't know that they're the NBA favorite at all in here in November,
Right.
but who gives a crap? Like,
Yeah.
I'm worried about winning championships at the end. So this game to me might have as much implications as any other game
Sure.
as it progresses, and I think it's really exciting to open it up in San Francisco.
How about
So-
Kawhi gets to come back and be like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I just stuck this dagger in your heart."
Absolutely.
Oh, but by the way, I'm on this new team. Let's see what happens.
What a weirdo to be such a great player. Like, let's be real.
great.
Like, I don't know. Like, don't you feel like you know every NBA player except for Leonard?
Can you do the weird
Like,
Kawhi
nothing.
laugh? Can
Yeah.
anybody do the weird?
I mean,
It's really
seriously,
strange.
can you hate a guy you don't know? Can you love a guy you don't know? Like, I'm like, okay, I love KD. I hate KD.
He's an
I love
enigma.
LeBron. I hate LeBron. And like KD, I'm like, with Leonard, I'm like, oh man, this guy's weird, but he's the Finals MVP. Oh, he sat out a year. Oh, he's the Finals MVP, and he won.
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal
He's
what
sick.
he's been able to do.
Well, and getting into that and going a little further, that takes us to our number 1 game, which this
boy.
actually happens 2 times. And yeah, it's 2 times this year, and both of them are going to be amazing. We have opening night in the NBA, the 22nd, and we've got Christmas Day. 2 huge days in the
Merry
NBA.
Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas
God,
indeed.
Christmas is going to be so fun.
We've got Clippers versus Lakers in what I think is the biggest of all these amazing battles. It's the battle for LA.
Yeah.
Let me tell you some stuff I
Yeah.
love about this game. One is that they're both home teams.
Yep.
Right? Okay,
Oh,
so they're
same
both
arena.
playing
Good
Staples
one.
Center.
Good
Same
one.
arena.
So
Yeah,
regardless
solid.
of what bench you're
Billy
sitting
Crystal
on,
and
but-
Jack Nicholson.
That's exactly right. But you know what? I think my favorite thing about this game is obviously these are the 2 favorites to win.
Yeah.
That's the obvious stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm listening to Doc Rivers talk today about why they got Leonard over the Lakers and anyone else.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the most fascinating thing. So according to Doc, and he doesn't have a reason to lie about it, he's going to the Lakers. And so he's trying to convince his owner, Mr. Ballmer, of we got to give anything because it's not about why we have to be the best team, but why the Lakers can't be the best team.
Sure.
So they're willing to sell their soul to the devil to make sure that the Lakers don't get it, not so much so that we get it. And then, oh my gosh, we just got Paul George, who basically Leonard said, if you get George, I'm coming. Like you get this guy, and that list was short.
It's tampering.
And he looked over it. Let me tell you a little
$10
secret
million
about,
fine.
Let me tell you a secret about tampering. It's called championships.
I know, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, they can't
I'll
enforce
tell you
it.
this.
I mean,
If you want to find me whatever, and
Yeah,
it's
no.
a championship, I'm taking it. But
Yeah.
that's literally what he said. He said, I want Paul George, and I want this. And so I think it's fascinating that a guy wanted a specific player. A team went out and got him. They traded the most first-round picks that have ever been traded
Just
to
insane.
get this guy.
Yeah.
A Finals MVP has never in the history of the league moved teams the following year.
Really?
He's never
I
been
didn't
a
know that.
Finals MVP and changed teams.
That's
been a
fascinating.
free agent to another team the next year. So they do this with two of the top, in my opinion, the top two of the top five two-way players in the league. They're on another team, and then you have the sexy Lakers on the other side of that.
yeah.
And they just got two of the best players in the NBA.
So good.
This,
So let's
this is just
yeah.
like a home run
It
game
is.
every single time, and they're in
So
the
good.
same damn city.
So we've
I
talked-
mean, my
same
God,
stadium.
in the same stadium.
We've talked about the Clips a lot.
I'm ready today.
We've got to talk about the Lake Show a little bit because the crazy thing about the Lakers is that you almost forget because it's such a short memory league. You almost forget how good Anthony Davis is.
Absolutely.
It's fair to say because we haven't seen him play in a minute, but he was, I think in 17, he was third in MVP voting.
Yeah.
Okay. He's like 25 years old. He's maybe one of the top 5 power forwards to ever play the game if he stays healthy. Okay.
Yep.
And so LeBron back, healthy. He can defer a little bit more to AD.
Absolutely.
Now, the problem is who else does he have? Okay. But if you have 2 of the top 10 guys in this league, we've seen it over and over. You can win if you have 2 of the top 10.
Is AD Giannis with an outside shot?
Exactly.
Yeah, Giannis just won the MVP.
He is
AD,
right now.
If AD
Yeah.
doesn't try to cheat out of his
Right.
team last year,
Right.
is he fighting for that? No one's voting for a New Orleans
Right.
guy, but he's literally he's Giannis, except he can hit that outside
So we
shot.
have some short history with when I do it right now. I look at the Clippers and I'm thinking, okay, they're better, right? And I'm certainly PG3 was third in the MVP voting this year.
I don't even know that I think the Clippers are better. That's the thing. Vegas thinks they're better. People say that. I don't know that. I think when I look at the Lakers, I'm thinking you got a guy that's won championships multiple. He's won 3, right?
Yeah.
LeBron's won 3.
Yeah.
You got Davis that once won more than anyone. Look, Davis just told LeBron, you better D up and we're going to win one.
Yeah.
He literally just said that. To me right there, that got me excited. I said, the Lakers might be the team to beat.
Here's the real question for me. Who brings the bigger Hollywood stars? Clippers or Lakers? I can't wait to see it. That's going to be really good on that game.
I think it's going to be absolutely fascinating, and I think that we're going to see some big things within the first week of this season. But also, we've got some big games coming as we get into the second half too, and who knows what's going to shake out. So tell us, what games are you the most excited about this season? You can tell us at upshotpodcast.com. And remember that you can grab notes from the show and links there too. Make sure that you subscribe to the Upshot podcast and make sure to leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. We hope you enjoyed listening this week. We'll see you next week. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk soon.
You've been listening to the Upshot NBA podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure to click the subscribe button so you can get a new Upshot episode every week. And make sure to leave us a review on your podcast app as soon as you're done listening.